guys, welcome back to my channel, A Little Extra Lucky. I'm back with another video about speech and feeding therapy, and this is actually my third one, so I'm gonna make sure I link them all down below. This video is gonna show you the facial and oral massages that Lori Overland created that we do before every single meal to help prep AJ's mouth for feeding. Like I mentioned in my last chewing video, we are working with Heather Vukelich, who specializes and is trained in Talk Tools oral motor methodology. I will link all her contact info down below in case you want to get in contact with her, which I highly recommend doing so. So like I said, AJ's been working with her since he was about 6 months old. Everything that we've been working on with AJ is helping improve his oral motor development, which in turn will improve airway development, as well as face shape development. Because if you're using all the muscles properly, if you're chewing, then your face will grow properly. And when you have good oral motor development, which is just the development of your mouth, then your speech will eventually come in clearer, which is our goal for AJ. If you watched my last video, one thing that she taught us is that children who are diagnosed with Down syndrome have a difference in muscle tone, which is also known as hypotonia, have a difference in muscle strength, and a possible difference in sensation. Again, we can't change the muscle tone, which is identified on a spectrum from low to typical, but we can change the strength with Diane Barr's chewing protocol. I will link that video down below that I just posted last week. This video is going to show you all the exercises that we do before we start the chewing protocol and any daytime feeding. Because children who are diagnosed with Down syndrome can have differences in sensation, which is kind of like that Novocaine effect is how she explained it to me, or also known as hyposensitivity, where they're not able to process sensation properly and feel as much in their mouth, which makes it so that their muscles can't move properly while chewing and eating. So when you increase that feeling in the mouth and on the face with the oral and facial massages that I'm about to show you, then you increase the motor system by helping activate the muscles, help regulate sensation, and so the muscles can start activating and prepare the mouth for the feeding and chewing. So the reason I do all these exercises and activities before I feed AJ is to help prepare his sensory and motor system for the feeding. These exercises are really going to help prepare his mouth for all the movements that are needed in feeding and chewing. I usually do some of these exercises laying down and some sitting up. And this whole routine usually takes about 1 to 3 minutes. And I use my fingers and also a Z vibe with different tool heads. Also with AJ, what I've noticed is that he needs a little more input in order to prep the mouth. So I really need to add a little extra pressure to help activate his sensory and motor system. You'll see what I'm talking about in the video. So all right, keep watching to see AJ in action doing his pre-feeding exercises that were created by Lori Overland to help prepare his sensory and motor systems for feeding.
All right, so I'm starting with the cheeks. As you can see with my fingers, I'm starting at the temples right below the ears, using deep, firm pressure all the way down throughout the lips. Like I mentioned earlier, with AJ, I really need to apply more pressure, so I'm doing it quickly and deep and pulling his lips out 10 times. Moving on to the upper lip, with both my thumbs, I'm putting them on the sides of his nose and firmly pushing straight down over that upper lip. Again, I'm doing this fast and deep 10 times. Now here is the mustache, so using my pointer finger, I'm pushing and rolling that knuckle out. The goal here is this is going to help activate and wake up that upper lip that will be needed for lip closure. Now for the tap and tone, so I'm using my fingertips and I'm tapping all over the cheeks and mouth and lips to help activate those muscles and tone his face. So the cheek stretch here, I'm using my pointer finger and thumb, going up and down in a C position. Again, I'm doing this fast and 10 times on each side. The goal is to really start to activate those cheek muscles for lip rounding, for straw drinking, and also for certain speech sounds. So the next one is upper lip mobility. And this one, I'm using my finger starting from the back molars gum area above where your teeth would be. And I'm bringing it forward to the midline. So back to front, middle. Doing this in all 4 areas 10 times each. So molar to midline, molar to midline. This is a great exercise that I do right before he does straw drinking to help him activate those lips and cheeks.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see the camera? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up, 9, 10. Good job.
the palatal massage. So here I'm using my thumb, or also the pointer finger, and I'm pressing firmly on the palate, starting at the midline, and I'm rolling that finger to the molar and pressing it 10 times to the right, and then start in the middle again, 10 times on the other side. So my goal is I'm just applying pressure to help the palate, to help keep that palate wide and low, so eventually his tongue will rest on that top palate. So here's the maintaining phasic bite, and this is a quick chewing exercise where I'm rubbing my finger on the molar ridge, pushing down to get him to start that chewing pattern. I sometimes like to use this baby toothbrush, which is another quick way to do the chewing unilateral practice for tongue lateralization. So here I'm just placing it on the molar ridge, and sometimes I rub that toothbrush part to help ignite that chewing pattern. This really emulates the food arriving into the mouth, moving it to the back, and chewing it to completion. Again, I'm doing this 10 times on each side, and the goal is just to learn how to use a repetitive molar chewing pattern to help with that tongue tip lateralization.
Keep chewing. Keep chewing. Keep chewing. Look, Mama, do it too.
Makes your head spin. Pretty as a new star.
Good job. Good job.
Now using the red chewy or bite tubes, they're also known as, we're working on unilateral practice for tongue lateralization. Here I'm placing the tip at the back molars and gently pressing it down to get him to chew. Again, this emulates food arriving into the mouth, moving it to the back and chewing it to completion. Do this 10 times on each side.
Mama, chew too.
And the night goes on, so we could know what the light feels like when it comes up. I got a fever, and it's breaking
I'm throwing in some bilateral chewing practice where I'm putting 2 red chewy tubes, or sometimes I like to put my pinkies on each side of the molar area, and it forces his tongue to go inside his mouth in order to help him develop that tongue retraction. And I'm doing some more quick jaw work using the Zoli to help work on unilateral practice for tongue lateralization. All I'm doing is I'm placing the tip at the back molars and gently pressing down to help ignite that chewing pattern. He's been doing this since he was just a little guy, a few months old. He loves chewing on this thing. Last 3 exercises that I just showed you are just extra variations of the maintaining phasic bite exercise, where we're working on creating that repetitive molar chewing pattern and helping with tongue tip lateralization. For the lateral tongue movement, here I am stroking and rubbing the back side of the tongue with my pointer finger to try to get it to move or push towards my finger and get it to move laterally instead of pushing that tongue forward straight out. Again, the tongue should be moving towards the stimulation of my finger, which is in the back where I am stroking it.
7, 8, 9, 10. Ready? Okay.
So here I'm doing some more lateral tongue stroking, but now using the Z Vibe with the green mini tip, which has 3 different textures on each side. Sometimes I turn the vibration on, and then again, sometimes I turn it off, and I'm doing the same thing as before, but instead of using my finger, I'm using this tool, the Z Vibe, and I'm stroking and rubbing the back side of the tongue with the Z Vibe to try to get it to move or push towards it and get it to move laterally instead of pushing that tongue forward straight out. The tongue should be moving towards the stimulation, which is in the back where I'm stroking it. Now for tip tops, saying dada. I'm using the Z Vibe with the fine tip head, and with the vibration on, I'm tapping the tip of the tongue first and then the top of the palate and saying dada while putting my finger under that little fat pocket under his chin, and I'm moving it and pushing it up and down and saying and signing dada at the same time. Here what I'm doing is I'm trying to get his tongue to touch the top palate in order to use the D, T, N, and L sounds.
Da, 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 da. Ready? Da, 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 da. Da. da, 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 da. Ready? Ready? Tip, top, top, da, 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 da. You got it. Da, 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 da. No, not in the mood. Not in the mood for that. Okay. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ready? No? Look, look, look. Da, 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 da. Good job. AJ, look at mama.
Now for some more chewing, doing the slow feed, I'm placing the veggie straw on the molar ridge, letting him bite through the stick in a shredder-like motion, making sure all that food disintegrates per chew. Again, I recommend doing this sitting up. I did not do it here on camera sitting up, but I usually do.
Chew, chew, chew. No, not sucky. You gotta bite it. Chew it. Num, num.
Again, doing some more chewing, I'm doing the slow feed with the stick-shaped mum-mums. Sometimes I like to double them up and stack them on the molar ridge and let him bite through the stick in like a shredder-like motion to make sure all the food disintegrates. Again, I recommend doing this sitting up anytime you're doing anything with food, but I was doing it laying down here in this video. You want to do 10 times on each side, and again, you're working on that repetitive molar chewing pattern and tongue lateralization.
Chew, chew, chew. This is the way we chew our food, chew our food, chew our food. This is the way we chew our food, way in the back. Ready? Chew, chew, chew.
So here I'm using the Z-Vibe with the tongue depressor tip and the vibration on. I'm placing the tip horizontally on the bottom lip to help activate that top lip to come down to get that lip closure that's needed for spoon feeding. All the while saying out loud to model lip closure with the M sound. I do this about 10 times.
Mama, mama. Mama, mama. Okay, let go. Ready? Mama. Let go. Ready? You make that sound? Just like that. Ready again? Again, again, again. Open. Ready? Open. Let go. Let go. Strong. Mama, mama. One more time. Ready? Close. You're gonna do that for mommy. Can you say mama? Mama, mama. Straws.
After we do all those prepping exercises, we go straight to the high chair. I give him the silicone Bubba straws that are filled with puree that I have just frozen. And what it does is it provides some more unilateral chewing practice. It provides some good resistance to help strengthen the jaw and get him ready for all the chewing that he's about to do for our feeding.
Yeah, yummy. Pear, huh? Pear puree, huh? You want the other one? Here we go. Buddy, practice this one. You trying to get this? There we go. Your turn. AJ's turn. No. Chew, chew, chew with the molars. This is the way we chew our food. Way in the back. Chew, what are you doing? Are you playing now? Are you playing? Are you messing around? There we go. Mamas, mamas. In the back. Let mama help you. Let mommy help you. Can mommy help you? Mama's gonna help you. Ready? So stack them up like that and makes it a little bit thicker so you can feel it back there. There we go. Is that crunchy? Chew, chew, chew. Arr, arr, arr. Chew, chew, chew. Arr, arr,
Every road that we follow had to hold on just
arr. You okay? Too much saliva?
go.
You okay?
And the night goes on,
Mama, hold it.
we could know what the
Other side.
feels
Other side.
like
Ready?
when it comes up. I got a fever and it's breaking all.
Way to go. You can chew those. You have a little piece stuck on your hand. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I see it. It's right here. Okay, you want to chew with some veggie straws? Chew it, chew it, chew it. Chew it, honey. Okay, you're done with this. Okay, ready? You want some veggie straws?
Aiming so high,
Look at mama.
found out what it means to touch the sky. Every
Good job chewing. Oh, you're such a good chewer. Oh, you're such a good chewer.
hold on just so we could let go.
You want to eat these, don't you?
Here I have him chewing with the baby feeder filled with fruit, and I love that he's just learning to chew a variety of textures. Next few clips are just of AJ eating. Right after I do all the prepping that we just did, I start off with all the foods that he's going to be needing to chew with, and then we go straight into syringe feeding, which I will show you a video coming up soon with that, and then spoon feeding.
Makes your head spin.
All right, this is just one of the many more videos to come that will show you what we've learned from Heather Vukelich, our speech and language pathologist from Happy Kids Therapy. I really love sharing all this wonderful information that I've learned from Heather with you all. So if you have any questions or you want to connect, please comment down below or send me a message. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on another video. All right, so be on the lookout for another feeding and speech series video. I'll see you in the next one.